Well, well, well. Look who has stumbled into my trap. I really am a genius, aren't I? Able to capture this brutish super hero, if you can even really call yourself that, with something that even a rat could escape from. You really are dumb, aren't you? But oh well, that shouldn't matter. Your brain never could stand against my own. I suppose that's what has always made me, how do you put it, your most elusive villain. I mean, I personally would have used better terms. I think it's a bit cliché to call me your villain. Oh, but who cares about that? You're just here to try to stop my evil plans, if you can even call them evil. I don't think they are. Perhaps you do. Perhaps you are inclined by your position in society to uphold its order, but I am not. So, who really is the villain? And that's why I think it's cliché, after all. Very archetypical. I am not truly a villain, am I? There are people who side with me, agree with me. And, of course, while that doesn't make my actions good or evil, it certainly doesn't mean I, a friend of the people, am a villain, does it? Okay. I understand. I get it. But surely there's a better term for me, is there not? A nemesis would be better. If that's even in your vocabulary. Because you've never had to learn. You've always been able to brute force through things. That's something I've learned. Your powers, your super strength, every super aspect about you that goes above and beyond what the average human can do, well, that makes you powerful, yes, but it makes you weak mentally, because you're over-reliant on it. And when your own base philosophy is contradictory with reality, you fall into traps like this very easily. So, I have got you. I have got you now, within my clutch. And oh, this is what power feels like. Not whatever your weird, bizarre super abilities are. This is real power. So what is power other than control over others? That is odd and surprising. You do remember that you're supposed to be the hero, right? You can't be complimenting my genius. I mean, I'll accept it. I thank you for the very complimentary remark, but it is uncharacteristic. Is something the matter? Look, if you're having an off day, I can let you go free. But are you sure you're okay? Because that's not typical of you. That's very unusual. Well, I understand it is. It's true. But you don't typically compliment my genius. No, I am not flustered. I'm confused. And that's all it is. Merely confused. I don't quite understand or comprehend why you would say something like that. Yes, I, I do understand. Yes, no, I understand. I did, think you should use a better term. I, I don't think you really used the proper terminology when combining it with the word nemesis. Well, that, you are definitely trying to get yourself out of this trap in some very unorthodox methods. Firstly, a nemesis is just good enough, or even arch-nemesis. But don't use that word. Well, it's bizarre hearing that word come from your mouth. Well, of course, I think the word is dirty per se, especially in the context of coming from a hero and from my enemy. You've got to understand that, at least. That's not typical of a hero to say to his villain, I guess, or nemesis at the very least. Well, of course, why should I have to deny it? I don't think my, I really don't understand why you are doing this. Look, complimenting my physical attractiveness is not going to help you out, and especially not with the terminology you are using. No, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying that it is not... Okay, I need to collect myself for a second. I'm not flustered. I'm simply just flabbergasted by your, I don't understand why you are doing this, is the best I can say. That is bizarre. That, okay, let me just have a moment. Did you just say that you love me? You did. How? How is that possible? I am your adversary, your enemy, your nemesis. I am your direct contradiction. I am the antithesis to your thesis. Your very nature is at an oppose of me. And yet you, after all the confrontations that we've had, all the fights, all the schemes of mine that you foiled, you say you love me? What? Hold on. Excuse me. Do you hear what you're saying? You do. So you can tell me how ridiculous it sounds. Because it sounds utterly ridiculous. How can you love me? Especially, how can you have developed feelings for me? I impress you. Well, I suppose that makes sense. I am fairly well versed in many methods of. That's not why I impress you. My intellect is not why I impress you. What? My valor. You mean honor? You're saying my honor impresses you? What sort of honor do I have? Especially in your eyes. That was a one-off thing. I, I didn't feel it was very fair to... Well, just because you can give more examples to where I've spared your life, it doesn't mean... Well, okay, I understand that is more than sparing, that's saving at that point, but... What's your point? What is your point in bringing up all these incidences? Well, I understand you're giving examples, but there has to be more. Maybe you are right in that presumption, I suppose. Look, I can't lie in that regard and say that I have not developed some weird form of attachment to you, some weird partial obsession, partial attraction, because that would be lying. And while I definitely certainly can lie, I don't think I could lie in this moment. So yes, I too would say at the very least, I have probably developed some level of feelings for you. Something that has always made me want to one-up you, do better than you. And perhaps in that there's the obsession to garner your favor, your attraction, to win you over to my side, to win you over to me. And I think that may be the case. Perhaps. You know, after a certain while, being the villain hasn't been my driving motivation. Of course, it has always been a motivation. I always wanted to fulfill my goals, but I think certainly at a certain point, much of it is I wanted to see you as well. I know that sounds weird coming from me, but you've said other things, and, well, quite frankly, I'm not sure if I 100% comprehend precisely what you meant by those comments, but there is definitely some feelings, emotions to unpack now, I suppose. I shall let you go. I don't find much reason in keeping you here now, if that's any consideration. Oh, that is very sweet of you. But no, yes, I will let you free from the trap, even if you prefer to be in my presence. I suppose there is need for discussion of these things that we just talked about? We can do that later. I don't know. I'm just very much a little bit weary from all of what we have just said. But you are free to go now, so would you say perhaps sometime later this week, or maybe a month? I know you can be busy. That sounds nice. Wait, hold on. Before you go, I do want to tell you one last thing. I never really expected for you to confess first. But I love you either way. Hopefully we can make things work. Goodbye.